Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Arsenal won, Monaco won. We won the penalty shootout 5-4. At least we actually won a penalty shootout. I thought you were going to lose again today. Sometimes you have to start winning those because you never know in the cup competitions. But we are 7-time Emirates Cup winners. Your team will never sing that. On the real though, a lot to get to. Some positives, some negatives, obviously, from today's game. Last season, after the Emirates Cup game, we were feeling ready for the season. We had just thumped Sevilla by 6-0. Jesus had just scored a hat-trick. So last season, we were definitely feeling really good about ourselves after that Emirates Cup fixture. This time around, it's different from last time. We've just drawn with Monaco. Obviously, that takes us to 2 wins against MLS Ulcers and Barcelona, and 2 draws against Nuremberg and Monaco, and a defeat against Man United. But this time around, you also have a Community Shield game. We didn't have that last season. So are you feeling confident ahead of that fixture against Man City after what you've seen today? Obviously, we didn't go with our full first team. We rotated. If we didn't have that Community Shield game, we probably would have gone with the first team, the team that is probably going to start against Nottingham Forest. But obviously, the likes of Gabriel will start that game. The likes of Odegaard will start that game. So Saka, obviously, there are like 5-6 changes I'd expect in that Man City game and also in that Nottingham Forest game. But obviously, a lot to get into. So first of all, let's start. Let me know your thoughts on the game. And let's get to the team news. So this is the team that started the game. We had Ramsdale in goal, a guy who's been in the news a lot this week. We also had Timber at left back once again. That is one of the positives. Like Timber is pretty good. Like he was at left back, central midfield, right back, absolutely fantastic. Saliba and Nketiah at centre back. That didn't work a lot today, let's be honest. Saliba looked a bit shaky. I think Tomiyasu did okay as well, right back, left back. Declan Rice in midfield with Thomas Partey. Actually, to be honest, I expected more, like from Rice and Partey. Many people, like 95% of the fan base, have been crying to see Partey and Rice together. Now, obviously, it might be because they played for the first time today. It might be because they didn't have Odegaard next to them. It could be various reasons, but I'm expected to see more from that combination, Partey and Rice. I don't think that is the team that you're going to see starting against Nottingham Forest in the first game, and even against Crystal Palace in the second game. I think we won't go with Rice and Partey. I think there'll be like an extra attacker, whether it's Havertz or Trossard, but let's wait and see. We also had Smith Rowe and Partey. I know Smith Rowe didn't do great, but I'm really happy to see him back in the team. If he starts firing like he did 2 seasons ago in the 21-22 season, it's great. But I'm happy to have him starting in the team. And then Martinelli obviously looked sharp in like the first 30 minutes. Fabio Vieira on the right side and Nketiah up front. That was the starting lineup. Unfortunately, looks like Jesus is injured again. Not like looks like Jesus is actually injured again. But the reports are kind of suggesting that it's not going to be serious, because I'm hoping it's not serious. Like, you watch that game today, like everyone usually says sell Jesus, you are crazy. Like, you have to have Jesus in that team. Like, he brings so much. Like, Nketiah did okay today, but sometimes okay is not enough, and Jesus like takes it to that next level. And we also need Zinchenko as well. Like, I'm praying like both of those players recover very soon. We need both of them in that team. Like, those two especially, they're one of the reasons why we were succeeding last season. So I need Jesus back, and I need Zinchenko back very, very soon. On the bench, obviously, we had 12 players on the bench. That was Turner, Calheim, Gabriel, White, Holding, Tierney, Jorginho, Havertz, Trossard, Odegaard, Saka, and Marquinhos. So Marquinhos is actually moving out on loan, so I was surprised to see him coming on today. Saka, Odegaard, those guys, expect them to start against Man City and against Nottingham Forest in the first game. Same applies to Gabriel. For Ben White, I don't know about Ben White. I feel like Ben White will definitely start against Nottingham Forest. So that would mean Timber starting at left back. Like, I'd not be surprised to see Timber starting at left back against Man City in our first few Premier League games. I think that is why he's being trialed there. Now, we have a lot of different options. The one thing that I love about Arsenal these days is that even if you look at that team, even the 4 defenders at the back, it could be anyone, anywhere. Like, it could have been Tomiyasu at left back, Timber at right back. It could have been Nketiah at left back and Timber and Saliba at centre back. It could be Tomiyasu at left back and Nketiah like on that Saliba side, because when Gabriel came on, he came on for Saliba, and Nketiah pushed to the right side of the centre backs. So very unpredictable in terms of that lineup and where every player is going to play. So that's one thing about that team. But obviously against Nottingham, Saka will be back. Jesus, hopefully, I don't know. If Jesus is not back by the first game, I'm very interested to see who Arteta is going to play in that forward role. Is it going to be Trossard, Havertz, or is he going to trust Nketiah? Now, before I even go to the match reaction, there's a couple of things I've started seeing on Twitter and people reacting to the game. If a player doesn't play well, we say it. And I'm not like Nketiah's biggest fan or anything. I want him to do well, but I'm not his biggest fan. Fabio Vieira, I want him to stay for another season, but I made it clear. If he goes another second season without doing well, then you start looking at your options. If they don't play well, you say they don't play well. Like against was this Man United? I was not happy with Nketiah. And against, was it the same game? I think Fabio Vieira, the one that he missed a penalty, it was the same game. I was not happy with Fabio Vieira and he came on. But today, I've seen some comments. You cannot watch that game and then tell me, what the hell was that from Fabio Vieira? Sell him. He did not do anything wrong. Like, if you had to rate the top 4 players from that game, top 3, top 4, he was amongst those. Like, he did better than 16 of the players in the team today. So you cannot watch that game and tell me Fabio Vieira is the one that disappointed you the most. You cannot tell me that. And Nketiah as well. We are not his biggest fans, but you cannot watch that game today and tell me Nketiah was the worst player on the pitch. No. Nketiah was better than Declan Rice today. Fabio Vieira was better than Martinelli in terms of the overall game. Martinelli was good for like 25 minutes, but Fabio Vieira was good for most of it. He was not the best. He was not great, but he was okay for most of it. So we cannot really watch that game and start saying Fabio Vieira, sell him, Nketiah, sell him, they're not good enough. If you're going to sell players from that performance, we are going to sell 16 or 17 of those players. So let's be fair in terms of the judgment, because I see how people start judging these players. Now people are started saying when Ramsdale does a single mistake, send, this is why not supposed to be here. Ramsdale did not do anything wrong today. So let's be fair in terms of our judgment. Timber did well. If you're saying from today's performance, sell Nketiah, then we are going to say as well, sell Saliba, because it should have been a red card. We are going to say, sell this one, sell that one. So we have to be fair in terms of our judgment. So Nketiah and Fabio Vieira were part of our top 5 players today. They are not great, but probably in the ratings, I'm going to give them higher than everyone else. So let's be fair in terms of our judgment. So that was the Arsenal lineup today. Expected a lot. I wanted to see that Rice and Partey combination. I really thought they were going to completely lock out that midfield. Monaco's midfield, but surprisingly, Monaco were like getting through us quite easily. Rice was going a lot to the forward positions, left side as well. Smith Rowe's a bit quiet. Let me know what you guys made of Smith Rowe's performance. Do you think it's just because he's getting back to the team, or are you disappointed? But then again, as I've just said, we have to be fair in terms of our criticism. Last time out, when the likes of Fabio Vieira and Nketiah played, I said, listen, when you get a chance to play in this team right now, you have to take it. I say the same about the goalkeeper, Karl Hein. If you get a chance, you have to take it. If you don't take it, there's a lot of players who are going to replace you. So we could say the same thing about Smith Rowe as well, as much as I love him. I mean, if you get a chance to start the game and he gets 60, 70 minutes to perform, you have to try and perform, because if you don't, Odegaard is waiting on the bench, Havertz is waiting on the bench, Trossard is waiting on the bench, so there's a lot of players who can replace you. So the chances will not be there all the time. So you have to take the opportunities. That's the second point. Alongside the Rice and Partey midfield, I was also interested to see where Timber was going to play. He started at left back. He ended the first half at right back. What a player, by the way. Like, this guy does not need to settle in. Like, he's already absolutely incredible. Timber, defensively, I've also not seen him doing massively wrong. Maybe against Man United in a couple of situations, but today he was absolutely incredible. Like, he's always within the game, always getting involved in the game. Left side, right side, is going into midfield. So fantastic. I actually do think our back four in the Nottingham Forest game is going to be Timber, Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. I think those are the four players who are going to start, with Ramsey Lynn behind. For Rice and Partey, like, it's going to be very interesting. Like, I don't think he's going to start with both Rice and Partey in that first Premier League game. I think it's going to be either Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz, or Trossard, or Partey, Odegaard, Trossard, Havertz. Like, one to replace either Trossard or Havertz in the number 8 role, and then Odegaard, and then either Rice and Partey. I don't think you're going to start with both of them. But Partey today showed his qualities. Once again, I think first half he was good. Defensively, we are being passed easily. Obviously, they are getting through our midfield, and especially our left side as well, very easily. There's a time Martinelli was literally just left behind for their goal. But Partey in midfield, a couple of promising moves, especially attacking-wise. He got the ball, like, gave the pass to Timber, could have ended up in a shot or something, but some good play from Thomas Partey. Maybe it needs time to gel, but the pre-season is over now. Like, we're getting into serious business, and the Man City game, people are just calling it, whatever. This is not a serious fixture, but you don't want to start the season with a 4-0 loss against Man City, who you're expecting to compete with in the Premier League season. You have to try and at least show yourself, even if it means taking them all the way to penalties if you're not winning the game. That will be okay. At least go into the season confident. You don't want to lose to Man City again, because if you lose to them, how many games have you lost to them in a row? Like, so many. So you don't want to just keep losing every time you face Man City. But that's the weekend. Let's focus on the beginning of the game. So Smith Rowe did have a couple of times where he was defending really well in the first half, but didn't really get involved in the attacking areas. Timber did get involved in the attacking areas. Rice as well actually almost scored a goal. Rice put in 2 very good crosses. Unfortunately, there was no one getting on the end of it. And also in terms of him almost scoring, he almost actually got I think it was going in if the defender didn't put in the tackle. But overall, obviously, it's not like something special, 8 out of 9 or 9 out of 10 performances. I think it was like a 6 or 7, not that great. But let them banter, let the other people talk. I know the odds are going to start saying, Rice, he paid 105 million. Players like that, you look at the whole season. At the end of the season, you'll see who'll have the last laugh. You don't look at just one game. He's not going to perform in all of the 38 games. Some games is going to be quiet. Some games he'll not really be needed to perform because we'll be attacking all game and all that. But he will come good. Don't worry. I don't even think he did anything wrong. I mean, you can say players have been quiet. There's a couple of games that Havertz has been quiet. There's a couple of games that Rice has been quiet. But during the season, we'll see what happens. I have no doubt about that. As I said, Timber, very promising left back, right back once again. I think he actually, from those performances, I think he deserves to start our first Premier League game. But then again, I don't think White deserves to be dropped. So that is why I'm saying I think Timber could start our first game at left back. That is going to be interesting to see how he does in that one. But going through the season, maybe Zinchenko will be back. I need Zinchenko back in this team. I need Jesus back in this team. Like, Zinchenko gives us a lot. Like, those pockets of spaces in the midfield where Zinchenko just comes in and he was giving those passes to Jacques and Odegaard. we need that a lot. Like Zinchenko does that so well. And when you have Timber and Tomiyasu, Timber is good at passing as well, gets into midfield, but Zinchenko being a natural left foot and everything getting into midfield, I think it works out better. I wouldn't mind to start starting with Timber for the first couple of games at left back. Tierney as well wouldn't be that bad. I mean, but I don't think he will start. Unfortunately, he didn't even start today, so there's no chance he's going to start the first Premier League game. So that is something I'm interested to see. Tomiyasu, I think, did well as well. But let's get into the game. So Aaron Ramsdale made a couple of good saves in the first half. Monaco are actually really decent. They were attacking, they were creating chances. More than us, actually. They looked more hungrier than us. They seem to be wanting the Emirates Cup more than us. They got involved in good, like they won all the one-on-one battles in the midfield, on the right side, on the left side. The only players who are really turning up for us in those first 30 minutes were Martinelli, Julian Timber. I think Rice was okay as well in terms of getting forward, crossing the ball and all that. And I think Eddie did well. Something that Eddie has really improved on is his turning. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the way like he gets the ball and he turns the defender, I love that. It seems like he has really worked with on that. Last season when we came back from the World Cup, the game against West Ham, he did so well in terms of turning the defender in that game and seems to be practicing on that. He can actually turn a defender and run past 2-3 defenders. That is something good. Although I still know it's not everyone's cup of tea, could he end up starting the first game of the Premier League season if Jesus is seriously injured? I'm really praying he's not. There is the news that I'm seeing right now on Twitter is Jesus is not that, the knee injury to Jesus is not that serious, but they're still going to do like they're still going to check him. So hopefully it's not that serious, because if it's the same knee, same injury, no, man, Jesus has to be there. Like, even watching that game today, Jesus just has to be there. Nketiah did not do badly, did okay, but Jesus will do more than okay. You need Jesus in terms of coming back and combining play with Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard, him getting into the box. I think Jesus does brilliantly well, even in terms of skill and everything. Getting involved in battles with defenders and midfielders, Jesus does that so much, so you need him in the team. Last season, at a time like this, we had just won 6-0 and he had scored a hat-trick, so he can also score goals. Don't make the media believe, don't believe the media that Jesus cannot score goals. He scores goals. So Monaco went 1-0 ahead. It was not directly from a corner, but yet again, we considered a couple of those goals last season where a corner comes in and then we maybe clear it and then it comes back in and they score. This time it was poor defending from Martinelli, allowed the player to get him past him very easily, and the man in the middle was free to make it 1-0. That's if you're taking concerns from this preseason, the main one would be defensively. Obviously, we considered twice against Man United, 2 mistakes. We considered against Nuremberg, another mistake. That was Karl Hein. Against MLS also, we didn't concede. Against Barcelona, we considered three goals. Odegaard gave away the first goal, deflected off him for the second goal. So yeah, we've conceded 1, 3, 6. We've conceded 7 goals in the 5 games. For Arsenal, I mean, we played quality teams, Barcelona, Man United, and all that, but we expect less than that. 7 goals not. I mean, if you're looking at the rest of the Premier League, because people have watched that game today and they've said Arsenal is not going to finish in the top 4 because we considered a goal to Monaco, every team concedes goals. Like if Liverpool, for example, they conceded 4 against Bayern today, they conceded 4 3 days ago, I think, to like 4th or something. Liverpool have conceded like 20 goals this preseason, but people are still fancying them to finish in the top 2. Man City conceded like 3 goals against the Japanese team, against Yokohama or something. So goals are usually considered in the preseason. I don't know if that's you're supposed to take a lot from that into the season. Does that mean players are not really taking it that seriously in preseason? Does it mean the combination and the rotation and all that kind of affects the team? It's not just Arsenal who've considered preseason goals. All the other teams have considered a bunch of goals as well. Man United, for example, Dortmund, Real Madrid, they've lost a lot of games as well. But you're not bothered about those teams, obviously. We are focused on Arsenal. And we've no problem with conceding the goals if you concede good goals, but the problem is if it comes from your mistakes. And like out of the 7 goals, like 6 of them are Arsenal mistakes. So if you can try and cut out those mistakes, I'd be happy. And also the other concern is, yes, there's been a lot of changes, but we have considered goals with Saliba on the pitch. We have considered goals with Gabriel on the pitch. We have considered goals with Ramsdale and Karl Hein on the pitch. We have considered goals with Timber and Tomiyasu on the pitch. Maybe it could be different in the season when you get a set back 5 with Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, and all those guys starting regularly. But we need to cut out the mistakes, obviously, and try and start keeping clean sheets, especially at the Emirates Stadium. last season we conceded a lot of goals in the Emirates Stadium. Like, we were keeping a bunch of clean sheets away. Like, we went to Bournemouth, kept a clean sheet, went to Brentford, clean sheet to Chelsea, clean sheet to Tottenham, clean sheet. But at the Emirates, we were conceding 3 against Southampton, 2 against Bournemouth, 3 against Brighton. Like, last season, we considered a lot of goals at the Emirates. I think even Liverpool scored twice, Man United scored twice, Man City scored twice. So basically, every team came to the Emirates and scored more than 2 goals, pretty much like 12 out of the 19 teams. So it's not good at the Emirates. You need to start defending better. But attacking-wise, everyone obviously is asking for a striker, especially if Jesus is injured. Then you have to start asking for a striker. Personally, I've never really felt like striking is our biggest problem because we scored 88 goals last season. I know it would be good to get players like Osimhen. It would be great to have players like Osimhen, but whatever Arteta is looking for in the system is not really looking for a striker who's just going to sit in the box. He's looking for a striker like Jesus who's going to go to the right side, go to the left side. Trossard goes into the middle. Jesus comes to the number 10. Odegaard goes to the middle, like a lot of rotation in that front 5. So that is not what really Arteta is looking. He's not looking for the strikers we had back in the day, like Sharmax and Bentner's players who just stay in the middle. Is looking for strikers going to get all around the pitch. I don't think goals has been our main problem this preseason. We scored 5 against Barcelona, 5 against MLS All-Stars. Scored against Nuremberg, should have been more, obviously. We scored today, should have been more, obviously. We didn't score against Man United. So 12 goals in 5 games. Not the end of the world. I still don't think we're going to be affected in terms of goals. Obviously, if Jesus is injured, then yes, we need someone else to be there. But definitely, I mean, I want someone like Kudus. I definitely want Kudus to come there just to give us something different in the number 8 role, and in the wings, we just need something different as well. Because Marquinhos is going, and sometimes, I mean, Smith Rowe is not back to the top of his game. Fabio Vieira is obviously not at the top of his game as well. So sometimes these teams will just come and defend. Last season, we had a lot of performances where teams were opening up for us. Like, we put 4 passes on Villa, 4 past Brighton. Those teams are not really giving us respect in terms of, oh, this is Arsenal. But this time around, I feel like teams will now start defending a lot against us like they did at the end of the last campaign. Teams will just come and pack the bus, and that is why you'll need Kudus there. You'll need Odegaard. If he doesn't perform, you have someone else on the bench to come on. We'll need that a lot next season. Pat here, that good turn for that, giving the pass to Timber. Very good pass from Pat and good turn for him. And then came the Nketiah goal. Now, another positive from today, I actually did love the corner kicks. Fabio Vieira did put in at least 80% of the corner kicks he put in were great. And Martinelli as well, the 2-3 corner kicks he took, pretty good. Most of them landed on, or all of them landed on an Arsenal player, including this one. Nketiah, good positioning for this goal, and decent finish, easy finish, obviously, but in terms of him getting himself into that position, back post position, you have to have like a killer instinct to like know and understand that far post position. Sometimes the fullbacks usually go asleep, so you need to target those areas. So good corner from Martinelli, and good for Nketiah's confidence. I mean, I know people are also talking about Havertz today as usual. Whenever he comes on and doesn't run for 1 minute, people are like, "Now, why did you pay 65 million?" Again, I'll talk about it in the reaction. Havertz didn't really do anything wrong. So if you're watching that game and you're telling me, haha, 65 million, you're trying to reach. Like, there's nothing Nketiah did wrong. There's nothing that Havertz did wrong. They're just being targeted because people don't like them. So there's that as well. Let's be fair in terms of the criticism. But I was happy that Nketiah got a goal. He might not be what we want, like in terms of Champions League and Premier League. Will he go? I don't think so. Will things change now if Jesus is seriously injured? I don't know. Could that mean Balogun could stay? I don't know. We wanted Balogun to stay, but the problem is if Balogun doesn't want to stay, if he wants to be a first choice striker and is disrupting the team, you cannot keep a player like that. I'm sorry, Balogun is not a first choice striker. Jesus is. So Balogun cannot convince me that, yes, I need to start games ahead of Jesus. That can't happen. So unless Jesus is currently injured and is going to be out like for 1 or 2 months, then we could discuss that. But for players like Nketiah and Havertz, they might not put like the best performances as people are hoping for. But if Havertz comes next season and he scores 10 goals and gets like 6-7 assists, that is okay. Even if, for me, I predicted in all competitions he's going to get 10 goals and 6 assists, 16 goal returns, that would be good. That means he's done his job. He might not run all the time or stuff like that, but if he gets 16 goal contributions in all competitions, why not? And for Nketiah as well, I still believe if Nketiah starts every single game out of the 38, he's capable of getting like 12, 13 goals. Obviously, he's going to miss some that you're going to be like, oh no, this is why he's not a Premier League striker, all that. But I do feel like if he plays all 38 games, he's going to score like 12, 13 goals. But the problem is with that, I don't think strikers are just about goals. Yes, if you score goals, you'll win the game. But I don't think strikers, it's all about goals. Like, you have to give a lot. Like, if you watch Rooney and Aguero, you have to come into midfield, get the ball combination, play all that, assist a few times. And I think Jesus does that well enough as well in terms of combination play. You have to have an understanding with your wingers and your number 10. And I feel like Jesus and Odegaard would have a better understanding than what Odegaard and Nketiah would have. But with that said, he still scored today. So I'm happy for him scoring that goal today, making it 1-1 to Arsenal. But unfortunately, that was it. We didn't get any other goals. In the last 5 minutes on that first half, yes, we were attacking Smith Rowe and Rice and Martinelli getting involved in the play in that last 5 minutes. But after that, I would say it was very balanced. At even Monaco, maybe 55% to 45% in terms of being better than us. They were winning second balls. They looked to have more speed than us. Minamino came in. There's some players you never really get away from. Minamino and Gundogan, they leave the Premier League, you think you're done with them, and we end up facing Gundogan like 2 weeks after he leaves Man City, and you face Minamino again. Did he miss the penalty? Is he the one who missed the penalty? No, I think he scored his penalty, right? Who missed the penalty for Monaco? I don't even remember. Was it him? It was Minamino who missed the penalty, right? If it was him, I think he missed a penalty against us some time back as well, because we had like 3 penalty shootouts against Liverpool 2019, 2020. I think it was him. Remind me if it was Minamino who missed the penalty. But anyway, I'm jumping the gun too much. Second half, I thought we were going to make a lot of subs at halftime. Like bring on Havertz, bring on Odegaard, but he actually gave the players 60 minutes. Second half was a bit quiet in terms of all the players, actually. We were very, very quiet in the second half, apart from that run that Saliba had where he ran past like 4 players and got in and won us a corner. That was a good run from Saliba. Ramsdale also had a good save in that second half. But that was almost pretty much it. Havertz, Jorginho, Tierney, White, Trossard, Gabriel, and Odegaard came on for Smith Rowe, Rice, Timber, Partey, Tomiyasu, Saliba, and Martinelli. So basically, Timber came on for, let's do this. Tierney came on for Timber at left back. Ben White came on for Tomiyasu at right back. Gabriel came on for Saliba, and Kivio played in that Saliba role. Odegaard came on for Partey. Havertz came on for Smith Rowe, and Trossard came on for Martinelli. So those are the 7 subs that we made. And Trossard is so good, man. Like, the moment Trossard came on, like, the game changed. Like, quickness in terms of ball control, the fact that he can use left and right foot is seriously becoming one of my favorite Arsenal players right now. Trossard, like, this preseason, he's really announced himself. That is what every player needs to do in preseason. You don't have to win 6-0 every game. Get the fitness up, but also if you're not a starting player, you have to try and convince the manager that you're a starting player. The backup goalkeeper has not really done that. I think Tierney has done well. I mean, I don't think Arsenal fans would be mad if Tierney started our game against Man City or Nottingham Forest. But Trossard is the one that has really taken his opportunity in terms of him not being a first-team player. Is really impressed, and he's impressed in like 3 different positions. Against MLS All-Stars, he played as a number 8, played really well. Today he came on the left side. I think there's a game he was the Odegaard role as well, number 10, and he did quite well. So not to be surprised. I think Trossard deserves to start our first game against both against Man City and against Nottingham Forest. I'd like to see Trossard next to Odegaard. So for the people who are saying Havertz didn't do well as well, in terms of the overall 30 minutes, I like the combination with Trossard and Havertz. They seem to like be understanding each other, which is good. And also Trossard and Odegaard, they're playing good. Maybe it's because Trossard is really playing well, so everyone looks great around him. But really impressed with what Trossard came in and did. Who else came on and impressed? Gabriel, no, not that good. Gabriel came on, got a yellow card. He got chanced so easily by Minamino. Good skill from Minamino, but Gabriel and Saliba today got some silly yellow cards that we don't want to see during the season. Last season, another thing that we did very well was not getting a red card. Like, can you imagine? Like, the previous 2 seasons, Aubameyang had gotten a red card, Pepe had gotten a red card. Gabriel had gotten a red card. Leonard got in a red card. Jacques had gotten a red card. So many. Partey had gotten a red card as well. We had like 10 red cards in the previous 2 seasons. Last season, another thing that we did very well was not getting red cards. Our discipline was great. Jacques was disciplined. Gabriel was disciplined. No one got silly red cards. And there's actually players like Ben White who got like 2 or 3 yellow cards the whole season, which is good. So we don't want that to creep back into Gabriel's game or Saliba's game at all. Let's stay disciplined. Don't dive in when you don't need to dive in. Just stay with your man sometimes. Don't dwell with the ball too much. Gabriel, he does that a lot as well, like he did against Mitrovic last season. But obviously, they're still the starting centre backs next season, next to Saliba, Gabriel and Saliba. Fabio Vieira as well. He almost scored a very good volley in the 78th minute with his right foot. Good to see Fabio Vieira using his right foot, and also very good cross from Trossard once again. Trossard does not care. Left foot, right foot, same thing. He's absolutely incredible once again. I'm really happy with Trossard. And that was basically it in terms of the game and how the game went. Marquinhos also came on from Nketiah. Penalties, at least we won the penalty shootout. And Odegaard, now we've been talking about, obviously penalty taking is a topic as well, because people are saying Ramsdale cannot save penalties, and obviously in terms of us losing the last couple of penalty shootouts and Saka missing a couple of penalties as well, we've been talking about penalties a lot recently. The penalties I've seen Odegaard taking for us, I don't think he's ever missed the 3 or 4 penalties he's taken, and he seems to be very confident in terms of taking the penalties. So it's going to be interesting. Will Saka be our first choice penalty taker once again, or will he switch it to Jesus or switch it to Odegaard when Jorginho is not on the pitch? When Jorginho is on the pitch, I think he has to take the penalty. Like he never looks like he's going to miss. Did you see that penalty from Jorginho today? Oh my goodness! I usually expect him to just pass it in, but him hopping and skipping and then putting it like in the top corner. Absolutely incredible penalty from Jorginho. So if he's on the pitch, he is the penalty taker because he never really misses. Also, Havertz, brilliant penalty as well when he came on. I will do the player ratings. Fabio Vieira as well. I was happy he scored today, the penalty, and obviously Gabriel. Surprised he took our last penalty, but he scored it. Before getting the player ratings, positives, Julian Timber once again shining from the left side and going to the right side as well and doing pretty well. Another positive was I think Fabio Vieira did quite okay on the right wing. You know, that is not his position. The kind of work and threat that Saka gives us in that position, you don't really expect anyone to match it, even anyone in our team right now. But Fabio Vieira did okay. I mean, we didn't really even need to bring Saka today, although he didn't win the game. But Fabio Vieira felt like he did well on that right side. He was not incredible, but you can't watch that game and tell me, okay, Fabio Vieira did not do anything wrong. Nketiah scored a goal. I guess you can take that as a positive. Did he captain us today? I think he captained us today, right? That brought a lot of drama. Obviously, he's not supposed to be captain, but we don't know why he was given. That's a weird one, but whatever. Any other positives? I think the sub, Trossard coming on and doing pretty well. I think that was good. I mean, not that many positives, but negatives. I expected Partey and Rice combination to work better. Both of them in the midfield, I didn't expect us to get past that much. Second, another game without a clean sheet. We've been considering a lot in terms of defensively, so not happy with that. Obviously, Saliba and Gabriel picking up those yellow cards as well. Shaky moments for them to pick up those yellow cards. Another positive was obviously also Saka not playing today. Like he had played like 300 games in a row for Arsenal. It was good seeing him at least taking a rest today. Any other negatives? Apart from Rice Partey, I don't think there's any other standout negatives. I mean, yes, we didn't create as many chances as expected today. I guess you can that one can go down as a negative as well. And also in terms of confidence going into the Man City game. Man City themselves, I mean, they I think they've won. They lost to Atletico Madrid the other day, but they beat Yokohama, I think 5-3 or something. And I think they beat Bayern Munich 2-1. So for them as well, I think in terms of record of preseason, almost the same as us. But I don't think that will matter. Like I think whatever has happened in our preseason, whatever has happened in Man City preseason, I don't think it's going to matter when you play them on Sunday. I think both teams will be going for it. It would be good to start the season with 2 trophies, the Emirates Cup and the Community Shield. Let's do the player ratings. Aaron Ramsdale did not do anything wrong today, made a couple of good saves from Golovin and one in the second half. So he didn't keep a clean sheet, but I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I don't think the goal was his problem. So 7 out of 10 for Ramsdale. Julian Timber. I don't know if I can give him an 8 when we didn't keep a clean sheet. Julian Timber. I think Timber did quite well, right? Would it be too much to give him an 8? Let me give him an 8 because when he came on, I didn't even really expect him to be playing left back for us, but he's really settled into that position right away. And I like how he's getting into midfield and predictable. I think on the right side as well, he was trying to create a couple of chances as well. The goal that we considered not really his fault, it was Martinelli being passed. We had dealt with the original corner. So I'm going to give Timber an 8 out of 10. Tomiyasu. I'm just going to give Tomiyasu a 6 out of 10. How long was he on for? Around 60 minutes. So 6 out of 10 for him. I really hope he stays fit because he's the kind of player that you can play against the teams like Liverpool. When you're facing Salah, you can just ask Tomiyasu to man-mark Salah like he did like against Mahrez and Zaha. They're no longer in the Premier League, but those kind of games like Tomiyasu can really help you if you really need to defend. And when Tomiyasu comes on, he can come on at left back, at right back, at centre back. He can fit in a back 3, a back 5. I think that's good. So 6 out of 10 for him. William Saliba was very shaky today. A couple of good clearances and all, but I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. We have to be fair in terms of ratings. I can't just give Odegaard and Saliba and Saka 10s out of 10s because we like them. No, if you don't play well, we are going to say it. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for today. The yellow card, he does not usually dive in like that. That was strange. In the Premier League, the second one, in the Premier League, that is a red card because he pulled the guy back and he's already on a yellow card. Very risky. In the preseason, the referee just felt for him. But in the Premier League, if you dive in like that and get a yellow card that early in the game, which minute was it? 24th minute. You still have almost 70 minutes to go. You're putting yourself in a tough position. So Saliba, not the best performance today. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Nketiah, I'm going to give him the same 5 out of 10. He played on the left side and right side of the centre-back positions today. But a couple of shocking passes. He was trying those long passes to Martinelli and Fabio Vieira. A couple of them went out like he was basically shooting the ball from his own half. Poor, very poor. And he has the ability of actually picking out a good pass. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. So hopefully that is fair for the defense. I've given Ramsdale a 7. I think he made a couple of good saves and his passing was okay. I don't think he really gave away the ball. And sometimes he can keep the ball for a bit long and you feel like, oh my goodness, you're getting a heart attack. But he didn't really give away the ball. So 7 for him. 8 for Timber, mostly because of his attacking attributes and also him playing at left back and doing well. Tomiyasu 6, Saliba 5, could easily have been sent off, and Nketiah 5. The passing was a bit terrible today. Midfield-wise, Declan Rice, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Going forward, he actually looked pretty good because he could easily have gotten an assist. He put in 2 good crosses, dangerous crosses. And I like the way when he almost scored, when he got tackled in the box, I liked the way he got the ball and didn't just shoot it or panic pass or something like that. He literally got the ball, looked and went in between those 2 centre backs and actually was about to score. It would have been nice for him to score his first MS goal. But apart from that, a bit quiet. I expected more from him and Partey. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Thomas Partey. I think Thomas Partey was slightly better than Declan. I don't know. Declan Rice was good in terms of going forward for 10-15 minutes. Thomas Partey as well, those passes to Timber and to, I think it was Fabio Vieira, very good passes, very good turn, and he left that midfielder by himself. He left them flat-footed and everything. But in terms of, I'm talking defensively and combination play between him and Declan Rice, I expected more from both of them, in midfield. I didn't expect us to give Monaco that many opportunities to get past us with Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in that midfield. So I think they were almost the same. I think Partey did better in terms of defense and picking out the passes, but I think Rice looked a bit dangerous going forward. It looks like if Rice plays that position, there's a possibility that he can get us 4 goals in the season. So I'm going to give Partey a 6 and Rice a 6 as well. Emil Smith-Rowe, I was a bit disappointed with him today. I'm not going to be harsh. Let's see. I still want him to stay. Obviously, I still feel like he's going to contribute a lot. But on the left wing is where he looked very good for us for that year, 21, 22, 22 season. Whenever we've seen him playing as a number 10 or number 8, it's not been that great. So I don't know. He's a very versatile player. But somehow, like, there's no way he played for us as a left winger, he looked really good. But whenever he plays as a number 10 and you ask him to be here, take the ball, Smith-Rowe, you're the one who's going to create the chances for us today. He went a bit quiet again today. So maybe his position is actually left wing. Did you see Odegaard? Like, Odegaard came on for like 15 minutes. He did way more than Smith-Rowe did for those like 70 minutes. So I'm going to give Smith-Rowe a 5 for today. I think it was just an average performance. Let's hope... I wouldn't say fitness because he played for England in the under 21s Euros, or under 23s Euros, one of those. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I think it was under 21 Euros. Gabriel Martinelli didn't score, but I think he looked sharp for like 35 minutes going past players. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I'm going to be interested to see whether he starts. So Trossard starts on that left wing in the first game. Fabio Vieira as well. Some people are saying sell Fabio Vieira after today. That is some BS because he did not do anything wrong today. He was probably one of our best players today on the pitch. So I'm going to give Fabio Vieira 7 out of 10. Almost scored with that volley. I would have absolutely celebrated it. Yes, he can. But now the point of Fabio Vieira being weak, people now are focusing on that too much. Every time Fabio Vieira has the ball, like, all I'm hearing is Fabio Vieira is too weak. He's going to lose the ball. He's weak. We know that. We know he's not the strongest player, but you don't have to keep saying it every time when he gets fouled. Oh, that's not a foul. He's weak. Those were fouls. I mean, a foul is a foul. You can't just scream Fabio Vieira is weak every time he gets a foul. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 for today. Nketiah played up front. He scored our goal, and I think he looked good for most of the game, so I'm also going to give him a 7 out of 10. I think him and Fabio Vieira and Timber are probably our best players from that starting lineup. Timber, Fabio Vieira, and Nketiah. I think he did well for like 6. Even in the second half, Nketiah had some really good touches, and I like the energy and the physicality. Like, he's always getting involved with centre backs and all. I'm not saying he's going to start our Premier League games, no, but for today, if you're judging from today, it's a 7 out of 10. Maybe even I'm being harsh. Maybe I should be giving him 8 out of 10 because he scored not the winning goal, but the equalizer, good positioning and everything. But I'm going to give him a 7. If we were doing halves, it would have been like a 7.5. Hopefully that makes sense. The players who came on, Gabriel came on, not the best. I'm just going to give him a 5 out of 10 for the time he came on. Actually, nah, I'm not going to give him a 5 out of 10. For the others that I gave a 5 out of 10, it was like a 60-minute performance. So things could go right and things could go wrong over 60 minutes. But considering Gabriel was on the pitch for around 30 minutes, and he got that yellow card and he got turned by Minamino, and there's a time he was dwelling on the ball too much. I mean, he didn't consider with him on the pitch. You know what? I'm just going to stick with the 5 out of 10 because he scored the penalty. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 because he scored the penalty. So I'm just being a bit nice. But he needs to watch how long he dwells with the ball. And obviously, we need the 2022, 2023 Gabriel, not the 21-22 Gabriel with the yellow cards and the red cards, not that one. So Gabriel gets a 5 for today. I think Ben White once again came on today. Going forward, he looked okay on that right side. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Kieran Tin, I'm going to give him the same. I love how he doesn't really mess around. He gets a chance to cross the ball right away. He crosses the ball. 6 out of 10 for Tierney for today. Jorginho's I think he lost the ball once. I think I counted the pass that he gave away. Same, I actually forgot to mention it with Pat and Rice. I think they gave away the ball like two times each in midfield, or instead of giving a good pass, they passed it out of the pitch. But I'm going to give Jorginho 7 out of 10. You see that chance that Trossard had to pass the ball to Nketiah in the second half? That Jorginho pass to Trossard was incredible, absolutely fantastic. And that is why someone like Jorginho has to be in our team, not starting 11. But I think he can do a lot for us, like in some Champions League games, in the cup competitions, in some Premier League games where we need to open up opponents. Jorginho is one of the best passers of the ball we have in the team, and he showed it again today. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I don't even think it was that alone. I think at the time he also picked a pass for Fabio Vieira. So in the game, 7 out of 10, and also not really going to give him a point for the or maybe the penalty as well as good. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 for today. Not everyone took a penalty, so that's not be fair if you gave everyone points for penalties. But I'm going to give him Jorginho a 7 for the time he came on. I think he did well. Kai Havertz, I think it is a 6 out of 10. He was not terrible. Let's stop doing this thing of just because you don't like Havertz, every time it goes down, you're like, it's terrible. What did he do wrong today? If anything, in terms of defensive work, I saw him putting like 2 or 3 tackles in. So let the opposition fans do it. I hate when every time there's someone playing for 10 minutes and there's nothing that Havertz did wrong today. There's nothing he did wrong. You cannot watch that game and tell me, Havertz 65 million, haha. There's nothing he did wrong. People are just like, just because you don't like him, even if he does something good. Now, there's something with Arsenal fans. I know Arsenal fans very well. When we beat Barcelona 5-3, we forget about it very quickly. But the moment we draw the next game, it's overreaction. Havertz 65 million, terrible. This one, sell him. That one, sell him. And another thing is, I don't like it when fans say, Havertz did not do well today, but you tell them, but he's in the team to score goals and assists, and he assisted twice. He scored twice. Nah, but that was just tap-ins. And so when it's a positive, you're like, nah, forget about that one. But if it's a negative, you're tweeting and talking about him and getting on his neck and saying, I did this, he did that. He did not do anything wrong today, and he also scored a very good penalty. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Criticize a player if he's done poorly. Don't criticize a player just because you don't like him, because I know people are doing that with Nketiah, people are doing that with Vieira, people are doing that with Havertz. They are not even the worst players on the pitch. Like, if anything, as I said, the players that people don't like, Jorginho, Nketiah, and Fabio Vieira are probably our top 5 players today. They were in our top 5 players today. So let's not be harsh in terms of criticism. Let's say it how it is. If we are selling players from today's performance, we would sell Declan Rice, we would sell Saliba, we would sell Gabriel, we would sell Partey, we would sell everyone if you're selling players from today's performance. 6 out of 10 for Havertz. Who else came on? I think Odegaard came on and did okay, created a couple of chances. It is like a 6.5, but I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I think he did way better than what Smith Rowe did for the 60 minutes. Bukayo Saka didn't come on. Marquinhos was only on for a few minutes, 10 minutes or something, so I'm only going to give him a 5 out of 10. Jesus did not play. Trossard did incredibly well when he came on. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Fantastic. Like, I think he's one of the players that I think has been our best player this preseason, maybe alongside Timber. So if anyone is really convinced Arteta to start a game, it is Trossard. I think is the one who really has done quite well for us. 3 of our players played 90 minutes. I think that was Ramsdale. Fabio Vieira played 90 minutes as well, and there's someone else that I'm missing who played 90 minutes. Was it Kivio played 90 minutes as well? But hopefully those are fair ratings. You could disagree with some of them, but I've given Ramsdale 7, Timber 8, Tomiyasu 6, Kivio 5, Saliba 5, Partey 6, Rice 6, Smith Rowe 5, Martinelli 7, Fabio Vieira 7, Nketiah 7. Bench players, Gabriel 5, Ben White 6. I've given Tierney a 6 as well. Jorginho 7, Havertz a 6 as well. Odegaard a 6, and Marquinhos 5, Trossard 7. Good penalties from Jorginho and Havertz as well. We scored all 5 of our penalties today. Havertz and Jorginho was very, very good penalties. Fabio Vieira put his in the corner, Odegaard put his in the corner, and Gabriel also put his in the corner as well. By the way, I'm just noticing right now, I think Odegaard put the penalty to the right side. I think Jorginho put the penalty to the right side. I think Havertz did the same, right? He put it to the right side. Vieira put it to the right side. Gabriel. Yeah, by the way, all 5 of our players put the penalties on the same side. That is interesting. I don't know if they actually noticed that. So all our players took the penalty to the right side. And they all scored. And Ramsdale made a penalty save. I forgot to talk about that when I was rating him. I gave him a 7 out of 10. Yes, I didn't include the penalty, but yeah, the penalty was at least he actually saved the penalty. I know it was in the middle and stuff, but at least he saved a penalty. He saved the penalties. Like David Raya, who the hell do you think you are? You are not coming to take my place. Competition is what we need in the team. Mikel Arteta, not really going to. I'm just going to give it a 6 for today. Many people wanted to see like the first team and stuff, but I guess he was resting players for the Community Shield. And if you're counting the penalties, he still ended up winning the game. But obviously expected a better performance defensively, a bit all over the place. Most of the games that we've played, so we need to sort that one out. And we have just over a week, around 10 days to sort out our defense and our midfield combinations. Hopefully we are ready for that. Let me take a few of your comments. A fair game, says Anu. I am doing good. RK. I can't take the comments from Facebook today for some reason. Robert says the manager over-tampered with the squad and also gave too much time to Vieira. This is what I'm saying, Robert. Vieira did not do anything today. Let's not pick on Vieira. He was one of our best players today. He did not do anything wrong. And the reason why Kiwi and Fabio Vieira played 90 minutes today is because they're not going to start against Man City. That is why they've been given 90 minutes, because he was like, you know what? Let me rest Saliba for him to play against Man City, and let me rest Saka for him to play against Man City. So Vieira did not do anything today. Let's not pick on players because you don't like them. D-Max says, congratulations to my Arsenal. Our attack was lacking. That I agree with, Robert. That's one I can agree with. Arsenal need to go out right now and get a striker, says Troy. I'm waiting to see what has happened to Jesus. I'm really hoping he's not out for that long, man. Like, we need him in this team, man. Like, hopefully he's not out for that long, because if Jesus is out, then we are needing to start making other calculations, especially if they don't sign a striker. And then we are needing to back Nketiah and back Havertz and back Trossard and potentially ask Martinelli to play there and potentially play with the false nine, which you don't really want. You want to start with an actual striker. So hopefully Jesus' injury is not that long. How are you, Calvin? I just say that Jesus had a procedure this morning and you'd be out for a few weeks. That would be so terrible, man. That would be so terrible. Especially the fact that Jesus started last season on fire for us, the first like 6-7 games. He would be a huge miss. But for me, I always wanted a backup striker to help Jesus out. A different kind of striker, like a Giroud or, someone like a Peter Crouch or a Bentner. Those kind of strikers who are tall and physical, and they're going to come on when the game is 1-1. They're going to come on for 20 minutes, and you can put in those crosses, and you can hold up the ball and stuff like that. That is the kind of striker I was looking for. I never really said, let's go and get a 100 million striker. Personally, we don't feel like we need it. If Jesus is 100% fit, we can still score goals. We scored a lot of goals last season, and you can still score goals, as we've seen in this preseason in a couple of games. But if Jesus is out, then we have to start thinking about that one. There's a couple of strikers I would love, but they're impossible to get. People like Watkins, I'd love him at Arsenal, but he's impossible to get. Aston Villa is not going to sell for you players like Watkins. You're not going to get Osimhen unless you have 160 million. You're not going to get Osimhen. So which of the strikers are out there? Vlahovic looks like he wants to go to PSG. There's not that many. Arteta should play Tierney at left back along with Timber. Arteta should play Tierney at left back and along with Timber, not Kivio. I mean, this preseason, I guess you're just trying a few things. This is the only time you have to try a few things. You try Timber as a goalkeeper, try him as a left back, try him as a right, but this is the only time you have to try. But our first choice defense is Zinchenko, Benoit, Gabriel, and Saliba. Now that Zinchenko has not gotten any preseason, it seems to be Timber at left back, Ben White at right back, Gabriel and Saliba, which I don't have a problem with at all. I don't feel like Ben White needs to be dropped from this team at all. I think he does incredibly well. Blessing says, yes, Fabio Vieira has tried to play well, but I still insist on Nketiah in a serious game. Nketiah never performs at all. That is fair. I'm not saying like he's start him every single game or anything. No, I'm saying for today, you cannot watch this game, as people have seen some comments saying, Nketiah and Fabio Vieira are not good enough. They are not our worst players today. If you're focusing on players who are bad today, there's like 12 of them. It's not just the Fabio Vieira and Nketiah are not bad today. So let's be fair in terms of the judgment. Thank you for the super chat. RK says, thanks for the live stream, Glenn. Much appreciate. Thank you very much. I appreciate that one. Thank you for always watching as well. Anu says Arsenal's tempo is slow. Today it was slow. Yes. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the combinations on the pitch. I don't know if it's because they're just waiting for the Man City game. And Arteta doesn't usually allow players to take any game. Like he needs every player to take every single game seriously, whether it's preseason or whatever. So yeah, today's tempo was a bit slow. The combination game was not quick and all. Last season, surprisingly, with players like Jacques in midfield looked quick and stuff. So the one thing the one trap I did not want Arsenal to fall into again was, oh my God, if Saka is not on the pitch, we cannot do anything. If Odegaard is not on the pitch, we cannot do anything. If Saka and Odegaard started that game, you know that you're going to win that game like 3-1. So that is the trap I don't want us to fall into. I want the Arsenal that we've been talking about the last few weeks, whether Odegaard starts, whether Havertz starts, whether Saka starts, whether Trossard starts, we need to be scoring goals and we need to see a good first team and a good second team. But for today, you can tell, like without Saka, Jesus and Odegaard, you can tell that there's something wrong there. At least one of them has to be on that pitch. Like if all three of them are not on the pitch at the same time, it becomes a bit of a problem. No excuse though. Obviously today it was a bit slow. It's good that Jesus is injured now. Eugene, that is BS. I don't like cursing, but you almost made me curse because that is BS. You don't want Arsenal players to get injured. Let Arsenal buy a striker and Arteta should swallow his pride by giving Balogun an opportunity. Striker should the second point about buying a striker, that is fine. But the other 2 points, that is BS, Eugene. Saying that Jesus is injured is good. That's a terrible comment, actually. And the last part of it, I don't think the last point of that, I would actually say Balogun should swallow his pride, not Arteta. Let me tell you something. Nketiah, most of us don't feel like he's the first choice striker at Arsenal. That is Nketiah. But he's willing to stay and fight for his position and play in the cup competitions and do the job when he comes on. That is fine. But for Balogun, this thing about him asking Arsenal to drop his price because he wants to leave, or him saying, no, I don't want to be the third choice striker, that is fine. Third choice striker, that is terrible. Maybe you don't want to be the third choice striker. But the team that we had last season played really well. So you cannot just come back to the team and expect, okay, Jesus out, I'm going to start. It does not work out like that. And if you don't want to fight for your position, I'm sorry, you're going to get money for you. And you're going to wait until you get 45 million or 50 million. So in terms of that, Eugene, who needs to swallow their pride? You scored 21 goals. Well done, incredible season. Come back and take your opportunity when you get it. You don't come back and start making demands. The kind of team that you've built right now with the team spirit and everything, if you show that kind of, I need to play, I'm all about myself, the door is open for you. Like whoever it is, whether it was Saliba doing that, whether it was Gabriel doing that, whether it was Martinelli doing that, if you feel like you need, Martinelli was one of our best players last season. He got dropped for Trossard against Aston Villa. We didn't hear Martinelli saying, why am I not playing? I'm not supposed to be the first choice. No, you come back and you score the goals and you're back in the team. You don't need to be, Arteta knows you scored 21 goals last season. And the other thing I don't like about Balogun is all of us are saying, yes, we want Balogun to stay and do this. But him on the other side, he's not even been patient for 3 weeks. How many games have he played? He's not even been patient for 3 or 4 weeks and wait for the opportunity. So I don't agree with that, Eugene. Martinelli is more effective when he comes in as a sub. Let Arsenal capitalize on this by starting fast, Trossard, then bring in Martinelli when the defender is tired. I think with Martinelli and Trossard, people will just have a different opinion there. But Martinelli is a definite start in our team. Martinelli, best talent in Arsenal, Trossard, good player. I would start both of them in the team. If Jesus is injured for the first game against Nottingham, I have a feeling he will start Nketiah, but I would start Trossard as the false 9. I would start Martinelli. I would start Saka. I would start Odegaard and Havertz, all 5 of them. Like that is if Jesus is out. That is against Nottingham Forest in the home game that you expected to start with and win 4 goals or 5-0. But in the other games, then you can't really go with all those attackers. Arsenal need to go out and get a striker. I agree. I agree that. Let's see how long Jesus is out for. But that is the reaction. Like I didn't even know. I've been going for almost 1 hour. We'll talk more about this one. We now have Man City on Sunday, and in 9 days we are going to play against Nottingham Forest. Then the next Saturday. So things are going to be very interesting. Thank you for the super chat, RK. Roger says I find that Rice extremely slow. Part is the midfield king. Today, I think going forward, Rice looked better. I think part in terms of just midfield control is quite good. But again, as I said, we need to be careful about throwing comments like that in after 1 or 2 games. People do that a lot. This game, this one is not good enough. He might not be that quick, but he's not that slow either. Rogers is not that slow either. I think he's one of the best, quickest, in terms of getting the ball and passing and all that. He makes his decisions very quickly, so it depends on what you find as slow. Urgent need for a striker, says Barney. If they're going for Raya and they're going for Kudus, I don't think we're going to get a striker. If we also get a striker and people are asking for a right winger, that means we're going to sign 7 or 8 players. I don't think you're going to sign 7 or 8 players. Considering that the season is starting next week, I don't think that will happen. I don't think Arteta usually likes 4 signings after the season has started. No, I think they're only going to get 2 more players, and a striker might not be it unless Nketiah also drops down injured next to Jesus same time. Then I think they'll go for a striker. As of now, I still don't think they're going to go for a striker unless it's like a loan deal or something. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know your man of the match in the comments after the video, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.